The Ulverston History Museum is set to become the place to tell the story of migration to Tasmania's northwest coast. Packed with artefacts, photos and information that tie the present to the past, keeping the memories alive for the many tourists that come to the region, including the occasional former pro cyclist. The final stage of the Mersey Valley Tour starts here in Ulverston, travels 74 kilometres to the town of Rihanna, but 14 kilometres from the finish is the infamous climb of Guns Plains. The 3-kilometre steep section was made famous in 2010 by Richie Port when he won the Tour of Tasmania. Lucy Caldwell from Holden Women's Cycling holds the race lead, 37 seconds ahead of last year's winner, Ruth Corset, who'll be doing everything she can out on course to try and get that race lead back off Caldwell. And maybe Janelle Crooks, who's sitting in third, could take advantage of that rivalry between first and second.
I think it'll be quite hard to get away early, just because of the nature of the race. There's a lot of downhill before that climb. I think myself, I'm going to have to make a move on that climb or over the top of the climb.
I think it's going to be another really tough day in the saddle. There's a lot of climbs today. It's going to be a real race of attrition, and I think everyone else is going to certainly make it hard and keep punching over those climbs, so have to hang in there.
The challenge for Caldwell is she only has 2 teammates left in the race, so it's going to be very difficult to defend the lead from a very strong Ruth Corset.
Early in the race we do want to make it aggressive. We want to isolate Lucy, so her team isn't there to help her before that big climb. So Kate's a pretty good climber and she's going to try and get away early and try and put the pressure on Holden to chase.
It certainly will be a challenge for Corset to regain the 37 seconds she needs on Caldwell, so she will have to be aggressive out on course, and you can expect some big fireworks when they get onto the Guns Plains climb. Well, stage 3 certainly did live up to all the hype. It was expected to be quite aggressive, a very lumpy course, and right from when the flag came in and the race got officially underway, the attacks started thick and fast. It didn't take long for a group of 6 riders to form off the front, and then they went over the first Queen of the Mountain climb all together.
We had a bicycle superstore rider and a boss rider go off the front pretty early, and I thought, oh, it's a replay. So from yesterday, I thought I'm not going to let this go this time, so I decided to jump in.
The bicycle superstore rider that was in the initial breakaway lost contact over the first Queen of the Mountains climb, so that team had to send another rider out into the breakaway, and they chose the Queen of the Mountain competition leader Taryn Heather to bridge across with Rachel Ward from the Boss Racing team. So 5 became 7 at 23 kilometres into the stage, and the gap had blown out to 1 minute and 47 seconds.
I decided shortly after that there was no point me working the brake too hard, so I sat on for a while knowing that Lucy was in the peloton with the yellow jersey.
I knew Shannon was climbing really well, so I was, knew that she would be up there up the road, and she was, the furthest up on GC, so it was just the perfect scenario, and I really enjoying the whole race, being in that position.
Eventually, the 2 teams under most pressure, Specialised Securitor and the Total Rush team, had to come to the front of the peloton to limit their losses, and once again we saw the strong legs of Bridie O'Donnell come to the front of the peloton. As well as plenty of steep climbs for the riders out on course today, there were some fantastic descents as well, and the peloton were in hot pursuit of the breakaway group, who had also started to break up under the pressure. In the run into the base of the final climb, 2 riders lost contact from the breakaway group, Rebecca Wysack from High Five Racing and also Kate Perry from Total Rush. As the breakaway group made their way up the very steep Guns Plains climb, it was Rachel Ward doing the majority of the pacemaking at the front of the group. Shannon Malseed and Liz Duell were able to hold on to Ward on the climb, and the leader in the Queen of the Mountains competition, Taryn Heather, started to struggle. Heather fought back on towards the top of the climb, and as they reached the summit, it was Shannon Mersey picking up the points. But the battle for the overall classification was just behind.
On the way into the climb, some of the girls in Pelton were like, "Lucy, you've got a stick on your bike," and I had a piece of quite a big piece of stick stuck to the back of my bike and the wheel, and I was a little bit worried, and I asked a couple of the girls if they could pull it out, and they tried to pull it out and no one could. But then everyone was like, actually it's going to be okay, and I just didn't want to stop because it was right before the base of the climb. I thought, if I get off now, then I'm not going to manage to catch up. And it was really, really hard going and a really steep percentage, and obviously much more of a pure climber's hill, and probably tougher than I thought it was going to be, but I knew I had to just grit my teeth and hang on, and I managed to.
With a few kilometres remaining, the two lead groups came together.
And then we were catching them, and I thought, well, I had to just catch them off guard, and probably Ruth was the strongest on the flat, so I waited till she was on the front and we just about caught them, and then I attacked, and then just as soon as I was caught, I think Taryn chased me back down. As soon as I was caught, Shannon countered and just got a massive gap, and everyone just looked at each other, and she got away and held it to the line, and that was just the best feeling in the world.
I was just trying to hang on over that last tough KOM, and I got through, and yeah, there was no reason for me to do much all day because we had the yellow jersey, so I came into the finish with quite fresh legs, and yeah, it just played out fantastically.
It was her first National Road Series stage win, and right behind Ruth Corset led the rest of the field through, but Lucy Caldwell picked up the overall race victory and held onto that yellow jersey, so it was a great double victory for the Holden racing team.
At one point I think I was virtual leader on the road, so that was good, but then Lucy did an awesome attack there at the end, and I counted, and it was 1k to go, and I just knew that I could make it to the line, and it's my first NRS win, and it just feels awesome.
Double victory for Holden Women's Racing, picking up the stage, and also the overall race victory for Lucy Caldwell. Second was Ruth Corset, and Specialised Securidor's Janelle Crooks was third.
It's great step for me, being in the yellow jersey, because it's the first time I've ever been in that position, and love Australia, I live here, and it's home for me, so it's really special.